Hello, I'm Nick Books, and this talk is about humans and the machine. So it felt appropriate to start with a very human story about a machine. It's a story about good servants, optimism, and a journey to improve GP education. My parents were an immigrant social worker and a special needs teacher, and they met in Africa, where they lived as volunteers. They taught me that serving others isn't just a job. It's about making a positive difference in people's lives. I carried that ethos into my work as a GP, a trainer, and an informatics lead at EMIS. My mentors. For the last 10 years on the RCGP exam courses, I've had the privilege of working alongside mentors like Professor Robin Simpson, a no-nonsense Scot with great integrity, and Roger Neighbour, an intellectual titan, still going strong. But back in 2018, I kept hitting a wall. As educators, we invest so much in our trainees, but I kept asking, how do we actually measure the impact of our teaching on real-world consulting behaviour? How do we move from, I think they're getting better, to, I know they are getting better, because I can measure that they listen better, that their language is clearer, that they ask the appropriate red flag questions. I wanted measurable data to scientifically approach big problems like differential attainment. 5 years before AI became a household word, before generative pre-trained transformers, GPTs, the key technology in large language models even existed, I had a simple, perhaps optimistic idea. Use technology to analyze everyday consultations to support consultation skills development and educational research in primary care. I pitched it to my friend Pete, a health IT expert who, like my parents, had spent time running educational charities in Africa. He generously volunteered to work on it with me. We had no money and no proof our hypothesis would work. When I discussed the idea with my mentors, Robin and Roger, they were quite rightly sceptical about whether a machine could provide useful support to help those developing consultation skills. But what about the money? We needed funding to get started because security certifications to prove you keep recorded consultation data safe alone cost £10,000 a year. For Health Education England, financially it was a very bad time. It was going through cuts. Administrators were being made redundant, and there wasn't money to cover the research and development necessary. We looked for alternative funding sources and found out about Innovate UK awards. As only companies can apply for Innovate awards, we formed a company and created a proposal. The proposal was successful, we won the award and set to work. Once we had solved the fundamental, technological and bureaucratic challenges and had a basic working version, we recruited senior RCGP examiners Dr. Nikki Turner and Professor Anwar Khan to ensure the tool was educationally credible. Their important work built on the framework we had developed, and it is to ensure that the tool provides safe and helpful feedback for reflection on the key behaviours that make a compassionate and effective GP. Is it working? By the time we had analysed 13,000 consultations, we had enough evidence to convert Robin and Roger from sceptics to supporters. Both joined us as independent voices to publish an evaluation of our data at the RCGP conference and DMEC. Here are some of our findings. In this chart, you can see the change in conversational balance for live new presentations across all users. The one on your left, graph A, shows the first 4 months of use, and the one, graph B, shows usage over an extended period of time, 18 months. Both graphs are showing that with increased usage over time, there's increased sharing and listening across consultations. In this next slide, we see a shift towards starting clinical management earlier over time, an important factor in SCA. Why does this project exist? Our GP team takes no income from Clinitalk. We aren't here to exploit the system. We are here, like my parents, to serve it. We believe the role of the trainer is irreplaceable. The machine is not the master, it is the servant, a better assistant that gives you information that you can use to help improve outcomes. Today, Clinitalk has supported over 15,000 consultations, and we're working with 18 VTS schemes to provide 30,000 more consultations for the next year. In this slide, you can see an example of the feedback that Clinitalk gives. There's a series of top tips in the top section, and then there's a graphical representation of the consultation below it. We can see how long the doctor has spent eliciting the story from the patient, how long they spent asking questions, and how long they spent talking about the management of the problem. The black lines that are vertical show the minutes. The blue sections show when the patient is speaking, and the pink sections show when the doctor is speaking. So we can rapidly see the proportion at which doctors are listening or talking during the consultation in the different key phases. In this next slide, we see feedback across areas mapped to the SCA and the RCGP curriculum. In the feedback, we see examples from the transcript quoted back to the doctor. We see the relevant NICE guidance with direct links, and we see some information next to the light bulbs where the doctor's consultation appears to have deviated from that guidance. And this is all information there to help the doctor think through their actions and reflect upon them to promote learning. In this slide, you can see a summary of the consultations that a doctor has been doing, and you can see the graphical display of those consultations, which allows you to rapidly analyze the kind of consultations the doctor is doing to get a sense for their performance. The data recorded allows us to see the trends in the doctor's performance over time in different areas. So this slide is looking at the behaviours of recognizing cues, demonstrating curiosity, and asking about the impact of the condition on the patient's lives. And we can see that they're getting better at doing that over time. So thank you for listening to this story. Thank you to those who have supported this project. In particular, I'd like to thank David Palmer, my head of school, Fiona Sellens, CogPed Chair, Professor Dominic Patterson, NHS England Lead for Technology Enhanced Learning, and to you for your time and interest.